So, hello guys, I'm back, and with a tier list. So, this tier list is all the US wars. So, because we're still a history channel, technically, even though we've kind of strayed away. So, first up, I'm gonna warn you guys, we're gonna have a lot of F's. F's in the chat. So, here we go. Let's put Vietnam in F. Now, the reason for this is because Vietnam was a complete, total political and military disaster. We should have... My computer's like frying. But, hence, we should have never gone into that war, ever. And, in the first place. Vietnam was a complete, we didn't have the right strategies. How usually the Vietnam strategy would go would be we'd attack, we'd have a traditional, rules of war battle. We might even win. We won, we would move in, and then the Vietnamese would be trap and attack and go around and sneak and be very, very enduring. And in return we would retreat, and then we'd probably call for an airstrike, napalms, Agent Orange, and then that would go over, and then we would move in, and then it would just keep happening over and over again. And the Vietnamese just did it all day. That's just what they were trained to do. It was not a war that we could ever win. So, F. The next war is the Banana Wars. Banana Wars are going to F. So, lots of Americans don't know about the Banana Wars, but the Banana Wars were essentially the U.S. intervened in Central America because big fruit companies wanted to essentially carve up Central America and overthrow their democratically socialist governments to create capitalist fruit places. It was I don't know if you saw Sam O'Nella, he made a pretty good video on it, but it was just we brutally overthrew the government of Central American countries, and I don't know why. It's with capitalism and socialism, there's bound to be, some problems because they're made to conflict with each other. But this was just so brutal, and we should have never done this. This was just essentially us policing Central America. So F. Often did another one would be the Iraq War. Is going in to D, actually. The case for the Iraq War was 2003. George W. Bush. He said that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. So we went in, and there was no weapons of mass destruction, and we just stole all their oil. So, yeah. We won though, which is why it's in D, and it was sort of a smaller war, which is why I'm not putting it in there, but it's the cause of ISIS and all the current wars we're in that we're never gonna win. So yeah, this war really sucked, and we should have never gone into it, like most of these. Next up we have the Spanish-American War, which is going in C. The Spanish-American War was just, well, you see, America had been really manifesting a lot of destiny. So, we really wanted to take all the land from an empire. We looked at Spain. They're limping because of all the lost wars in Latin America and all the stuff going down with England in the past in which they weren't winning. So, yeah. We just essentially took over the Philippines and Cuba and Puerto Rico, which we still have. But yeah, the case with this is I want to put it lower, because with the Philippines, we lied to them saying that if we won, we would free them, but we didn't. And that led to the Filipino insurrection, in which we committed basically genocide against the Filipinos, and I don't. We should have. I don't like imperialism. Like, I don't like what we were doing. I didn't think we needed to go to the Philippines and just murder everybody and then torture them. If you look over in like any major stories about the Philippines from the 1800s, there were cases of people like torturing natives to like please rich people, rich plantation owners there. It wasn't good. Next up, we got the War of 1812 is going in a D. Okay, chill. Calm down. You need to calm down. But the case with the War of 1812 was that we didn't win this war. Okay, I know there's a lot of debate. We're like, we didn't really lose. We didn't really win. We didn't win it. Okay, like, we really wanted Canada. We really wanted, like, Canada. So, we invaded. That went nowhere. We didn't really capture anything in Canada. We didn't really do that. We killed a lot of natives. They all sided with the British because we kept destroying their land beforehand. And yeah, then we got the White House burned down. We got some separate like buildings got burned down. The Battle of New Orleans was after the war, so I don't really consider that much of a victory, I guess. I mean, I get they didn't know the war had ended already, but still, this doesn't really work. So I didn't like this war. I don't like. Listen, this is all just my strategical and military opinion. If this was anything political, these all be an F. So, except for World War II, that would be up. Next up, we have the Mexican-American War. And the Mexican-American War is, without a doubt, going in to see right next to the Spanish-American War. So Polk really wanted to have some Mexican land, so we just slashed the Mexican border all the way down to the Rio Grande and well, the river thing, the Texas spot, and we took Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California, and some other parts of Colorado and stuff, but those weren't full states. So this was just an incomplete imperialist war. This was the end of Manifest Destiny. We successfully pushed all the Latinos out, and now we were the USA, mainland USA. I didn't like this war very much. It was really good for America, but it was not good for Mexico. Mexico was destroyed in this war. This was absolutely brutal. So, yeah. But it's like, I guess so. It's like medium imperialism. It's not like that. It's not like what happened in Africa, okay? But yeah. Next up. Okay, you guys are gonna have to calm down. Okay. The Civil War is going to B tier. Okay, the case of the Civil War is that it was really great that we got to, beat the South and we got to free all the slaves. But the Civil War, I don't feel like should have ever happened. Because lots of other countries in Europe, like in Britain, they ended it in the early 1800s. Because, one, it wasn't very profitable. Because, slaves kept rebelling and the ships were not easily transported. And I just don't feel like South should have seceded. I feel like we should have ended the Southern culture. I feel like Sherman, I'm gonna get a little political, but I feel like Sherman should have just kept doing what he was doing. Because that's why most places in the South are culturally better now. So I feel like that would have worked, and I didn't like the fact that the South seceded in the first place. I felt like we should have ended it earlier, and the Missouri Compromise and the Compromise of 1850, I feel like were just delays for something that could have just been ended there. So yep. What else do we have? Oh, Korean War. Korean War. Korean War is going in Korean War is going in C tier. I personally hated the Korean War, but the Korean War was something, because we were just supposed to contain the Northerners in North Korea, But that didn't work because little Douglas MacArthur kept rolling along way past the parallel, and he was way up next to China. And that was mainly the reason why we had to get involved in China in the first place, was because Douglas MacArthur kept disobeying orders. So, I mean, why? I mean, it was really, I feel like it was North Korea's destiny to take over South Korea. I don't want to be like, oh, North Korea, the true Korea, and all this stuff, but yeah, that's just what was going to happen. I don't feel like we should have intervened. But hence, because of this war, that's why we have so many problems with nukes in North Korea. So, yep. I want to put it in, you know, put it in, teacher. You gotta calm down, guys. I know you're all in your seats like, how could you put the Korean War in D? We won! We didn't really win that war, in my opinion. Winning the war would mean North Korea wouldn't exist. We got two big wars. Big wars. Right here. War 1. It's going in... War 1's going in B tier. Yeah. World War 1 was just like... We entered way too late to do anything, really. And we didn't get anything because we weren't in the war. Now, we could have made some sort of thing like, oh, we're fighting the Germans and the evil Nazis, whoa, but no. They were really bad, okay? The Imperial Germans were really horrible people. Wilhelm was a bad guy, okay? I don't want to feed the Prussian memes that Prussia was such a glorious place, because it wasn't. These were horrible imperializing nations. But it was really just a rich man's war, honestly. It was just a bunch of old capitalist nations fighting against each other. Now, World War II is going in A tier. A tier. Because, World War II, it was great that we got to defeat the Nazis, and we moved in, we basically saved Europe. Kinda. It was actually the Soviets who saved Europe, but still. That was really great and all, but the World War II, it's not an S tier. Because an S tier is like what America had imagined any of these wars would be, which would be us going in and gloriously slaying the enemy and triumphing through the wind. But, this really wasn't. This was a brutal, horrible war in which we got to defeat the Nazis, but these were... It's just, this war was very sickening in what happened there. So that's why it can't really go in S, because what really goes in S is peace, because peace is a lot better. But yeah, this is it. This is the war thing. If you have a different variation in your history channel, I would strongly advise you make, you know, other things. You know, you don't have to make US wars. So, yeah. Subscribe, like, please.